Man City just secured the second best player in Europe so far this season. Yes, Omar Marmoush has come out of nowhere and could be a game changer for Man City. But what is he really capable of? And how exactly would he transform the citizens? Well, to answer that very question, let's take a look at his journey so far. First of all, there ain't many players who have made the world talk about him the way Marmoush has. We'd bet that many of you who don't actively follow the Bundesliga hadn't even heard of him before the start of the season. But now, 6 months into 2024-25, he is not only the second best performer in the top 5 leagues, behind his compatriot Mohamed Salah, but secured a multi-million euro transfer to Manchester City. According to reports, the citizens will pay 75 million euros guaranteed, plus an additional 5 million euros in bonuses. And on top of that, they will pay the Egyptian 16 million euros gross per year, or 10 million euros net, which is an 800% increase on his current salary in Frankfurt. Now, let's put the numbers aside for a moment and follow his inspirational path to glory, before analysing exactly how he would change Pep Guardiola's team. Omar Marmoush was born in Cairo in February 1999 and made his professional debut for local side Wadi Degla in 2016 when he was just 17. He played there for around a year, and although his league stats weren't very impressive, just 2 goals in 16 games, his versatility caught the eye of Wolfsburg, who signed him in 2017. For the next 3 years, he was the main man in Wolfsburg's second team, scoring 11 league goals in 36 appearances in the German 4th tier. Of course, this was just a warm-up for Marmoush before he went on to make a lasting impression on German football. He made his professional debut for Wolfsburg on the first match day after the COVID-19 pandemic at the end of May 2020, where Marmoush came on as a second-half substitute against Bayer Leverkusen. He made 5 more appearances for Wolfsburg before the end of the season. However, the first half of 2020-21 was a very discouraging one for Marmoush, as he only played 1 minute of Bundesliga football. This frustration seemed to really light the spark for the next Egyptian king, as he never returned to that level of performance and disappointment. In January 2021, he was loaned out to then Bundesliga 2 side St. Pauli. There, he scored in his first start against Holstein Kiel, then again in his 4th appearance against Regensburg. By his 9th game for the club, he had scored 4 goals and provided 1 assist, and finished the season with 10 involvements in 20 games, or a contribution every 2 games. It wasn't something out of this world for Marmoush, but it was much needed for his confidence. Even this improvement in form didn't convince Wolfsburg to trust him, something they would pay dearly for in the years to come, as Marmoush was sent out on loan again to Stuttgart for the whole of the 2021-22 season. And while the stats were once again not really convincing, it was his game that really stood out. Speed down the wings or through the middle, a comfortable game with defenders on his back, the ability to find teammates in tight spaces. These were the skills that highlighted his game, but the one thing that makes him one of the best in the world is his versatility. In that very 2021-22 season at Stuttgart, Marmoush was extremely diverse on the pitch. Wherever the manager put him, he always delivered. 12 games as a winger, 2 goal contributions, 8 matches as a centre forward, 4 contributions, and 3 games as a second striker, 2 contributions to his name. Yeah, Marmoush became a real threat in that regard, and you can be sure that this is one of the things that Guardiola will really exploit when Marmoush arrives at the Etihad. Then, for the 2022-23 season, Wolfsburg finally decided to trust him, but their management was rather disappointing, as by the summer of 2023, Marmoush was out of contract, and Eintracht Frankfurt were quick to take advantage of the situation. Yeah, you can count for yourself how many times Wolfsburg made a critical mistake with Marmoush. They overlooked him on several occasions, and in the end missed out on a player who less than 2 years later is worth more than 80 million euros. Yeah, it's a fact that those 80 million were paid after a season in which he scored 20 goals and provided 13 assists in all competitions. But what did he do in his first season in Frankfurt? Well, compared to his pre-Frankfurt stats, he overperformed massively, contributing 23 goals in all competitions, 18 of them in the Bundesliga, to help Frankfurt finish 6th and qualify for the Europa League. At the beginning of the video, we mentioned that Marmoush was definitely not a familiar name to the average football fan, but the first time we really heard about his qualities was against Bayern Munich in December 2023. That was when a stellar Eintracht Frankfurt performance literally demolished the reigning Bundesliga champions 5-1, a clash in which Marmoush contributed a goal and 2 assists. Well, you could definitely say that Bayern Munich are one of Marmoush's favourite victims, as he did it again this season, scoring twice and assisting his partner in crime, Hugo Ekitike, in a dramatic 3-3 draw. Most impressive of all was the way he kept his composure in the 92nd minute, when he found himself one-on-one with Manuel Neuer, only to curl the ball brilliantly into the far corner. And as we turn the page on his stellar 2024-25 season, you probably know most of his highlights. 34 contributions in 26 games in 2,070 minutes of play in all competitions, which works out at around a goal or assist every 60 minutes. He's also the only player to have scored 3 free kicks in the top 5 leagues this season, all in consecutive games. The first player to do so since Lionel Messi in 2018-19. Yeah, comparisons to the legends of the game are nothing new for Omar Marmoush, who has been dubbed the next Egyptian king to replace Salah on the throne. Yeah, exciting times are definitely ahead for Egypt fans, hoping to see the Marmoush-Salah duo at the 2026 World Cup. However, the hype is definitely not on Liverpool's side, as their fans were hoping to see him in red. Instead, Man City proved to be quicker in their pursuit of Marmoush. But the question remains, what would Marmoush bring to Man City? Well, the first and most fundamental thing he would add to this stellar Man City squad is his versatility. Of course, out of 192 games on a club level, Marmoush has made 137 appearances as a centre-forward, 39 as a winger, and 16 as a second striker, or, to break the numbers down, 70% of his games were in the middle, 20 on the wings, and 8% as a creator behind the striker. In other words, he could literally play anywhere in the Man City attack. Ultimately, his versatility is a big proof of why Guardiola wanted him so badly. And while the management didn't hesitate to splash the cash on a player who, let's face it, has only 6 stellar months in his career, yeah, Marmoush's biggest haters, if he has any at all, probably can't believe the money being paid for a guy with only half a year at the top level behind him. But to be perfectly honest, Marmoush is more than just the stats. His work rate, relentless pressing, and movement off the ball are also quite impressive. And returning on the position topic, with Erling Haaland arguably the only player with a guaranteed starting spot in Man City's attack, Marmoush will most probably play as either a winger or behind the Norwegian. Given the stats we were talking about a minute ago, it'd probably be more logical to play Marmoush on the wing, but that probably won't happen, as there they have the informed Doku and Savinho, who can't play anywhere else, as well as Grealish and Bernardo Silva, who can also be influential out wide. That's why Guardiola may look to position Marmoush as a number 10, playing him just behind Haaland. Another reason to think so is De Bruyne's expiring contract and his age. I mean, he is 33, about to turn 34 in June, and there are some strong rumours that he is on his way out. So, to put it simply, Marmoush is likely to play in a similar role to Julian Alvarez. Before his departure in the summer, the Argentinian played as a 10, a winger, or even a 9 in a game where Haaland was rested. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to picture Marmoush's role at Man City, as he and Alvarez are very similar in terms of versatility. Yeah, they literally have nothing in common when it comes to style of play, but if you ask our honest opinion, Marmoush actually has more potential than Alvarez. His dribbling and pace are certainly better than Julian's, while their passing and shooting are on the same level. All in all, exciting times are definitely ahead for Man City fans, as they could undoubtedly be called the Kings of January 2025, having brought in 3 very talented players, along with centre-backs Victor Reis and Abdulkadir Kusanov, who could form the backbone of the Man City squad for years to come. Now it's time for your tales. Will Marmoush be able to maintain his spectacular form? And most importantly, is it possible for Man City to get back into the title race after splashing nearly €150 million this winter? Share with us down below. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more similar content. If you want to watch something similar, check out our upload on Marcus Rashford's transfer saga.